Welcome back to Maths with Mrs. J. We're now ready to start factorising some quadratic expressions. The ones I want to start with are obviously the easiest types, and they are the ones where you have a 1 in front of your x squared term. That's why I've titled this where a is 1. Remember again that expanding is going from a product out to a sum or difference, and factorising is going back the other way. Just to remind you how you would expand this situation, this is a demonstration area-wise of what x plus p by x plus q would be. And what we would get here, this area here is obviously x squared. This area here is q times x. This area here is p times x. And this area here is p times q. So when you add all those up, you end up with x squared plus px plus qx plus pq. Now this p plus q lots of x here is just putting those two like terms together. Now, the good news for us is that when we're going back the other way, if we just have a 1 in front of our x squared, what we are in essence being asked to do is we're being asked to find two numbers that multiply to give that number and add to give that number. And then we can go straight to our brackets and have our x in the first bracket, x in the second bracket, and pop those two numbers in. No problem whatsoever, and we know it will work out. For example, think about our factors of 3. Well, really, there's only one option, isn't there? There's 1 and 3. All right, because 3 times 1 is 3. 3 plus 1 is 4. So we're actually already there with our first one. Would it have mattered if I said x plus 3, x plus 1? Absolutely not. Doesn't matter which order you have your brackets in. Just to convince you, if you were to expand back out again, you'd get your x squared plus 3x plus 1x. Your 3x and your 1x give you your 4x plus your 3. Okay, let's try again. So all of these, we should be able to go straight into our brackets. We want two numbers that multiply to give 12 and add to give 7. Thinking about our factors of 12, I could have 12 and 1, 6 and 2, 4 and 3. 4 and 3 will do the job. They'll add up to the correct thing for the middle term. All right, what have we got here? We want two numbers that multiply to give 18 and add to give 9. So thinking about our factors of 18, well, 18 and 1's not going to work, 9 and 2's not going to work, but 6 and 3 will certainly work. That will give us our correct middle term. So you get what we're doing here? We're looking at our constant term and we're thinking of factors because we need our constants at the end of our brackets to multiply to give that number, but we also need them to add to give that number. Now this next one's a little bit more difficult because we've got a negative. That's okay though. We want two numbers to multiply to give -3, but add to give 2. Now just let's think logically about this for a minute. If you want to multiply to give -3, then you've either got to have -3 and +1 or +3 and -1. One of them has to be negative and one has to be positive. We just need to work out which one of those is going to work. Well, we want to get a plus 2x. So this is the option we're going to take, plus 3 and -1. If we had x squared minus 2x minus 3, then we'd use the other option. Okay. What are two numbers that multiply to give +12 but add to give -8? Okay, again, let's logically think this through. If you want to multiply two numbers and end up with a positive answer, but you want to add them and get something negative, then they're both going to be negative, aren't they? So how about -6 and -2? Will work there. Let's just double check. X times x is x squared. Minus 2x minus 6x gives you your minus 8x. Negative 6 times negative 2 is positive 12, and we're all good. Okay, we want two numbers that multiply to give negative 6 and add to give negative 5. Now, we're multiplying to give a negative number, so we're going to need one negative and one positive. And we want them to add to give negative 5. So how about negative 6 and positive 1? We'll do the job there. These are the sorts of things that really you just need to do a whole heap of practice and get really good at it. And you'll get really quick, and then you'll see one of these in future and you'll be able to just instantly go to the answer, all right? At the moment it's new, so it's okay that it's hard, but you need to do a lot of practice. All right, again, we go straight to our two brackets. We want two numbers that multiply to give positive 20, but add to give negative 9. So we're going to need negative 4 and negative 5. Now this one is actually a bit special because you notice you've got a perfect square that it's ending in. Let's just see if this fits the bill of what we were doing in our previous video. The square root of 100 is 10. 2 times x times 10 is our 20x. So we'd actually get x plus 10 all squared there. If we didn't recognise that and we just went to our two brackets, well, what would our two brackets be? We want two numbers that multiply to give 100 and add to give 20. So they're both going to be 10. And then, of course, you should say, well, that's x plus 10 all squared.